I thought this was going to go. I thought this could have gone either way again, and see what you think. Is this going to get you on the dance floor, or are you going to be up in arms? There's certain Six Music listeners who will be furious at the very mention of this man's name. And yeah, I tell
Gary
you,
Glitter.
I was toying with it. You know, I remember he used to be a mainstay of any wedding set. You know, but you can't get away with that anymore, sadly. But anyway, I know I threw this one in, and I tell you, the crowd erupted. All right, see what your thoughts are. I'll tell you there, looks straight away, two of the gang, grooving, look, Sammy's still loving it. Look at that, look at the soul in her eyes. The white soul in her eyes. Rufus, naturally, we'd expect him to be busting some moves. But Harry, furious!
I'm not furious.
Look at his face, you can see the anger in his eyes!
I'm not furious, I just think it's lazy DJing, Steve, you know. It's obviously...
Ooh, hang on a minute.
Collins has obviously got a bit of a cult following now, you know, all the hip-hoppers love him. They love his beats. That's fine. He had the old chocolate advert, the drumming chimp, which is what he is. But if you're going for a Collins track, surely it's got to be Collins featuring Philip Bailey, Easy Lover.
No.
Far better tune.
It's a great
essence.
tune, and I don't think that won't be featuring... Oh, actually, no, wait, I've thrown it. I've packed it all in. I guess that next time you're behind the decks for 2 hours, free of charge, gratis, then maybe you'll be doing it, because I've not seen you up there volunteering, me old friend, me old mucker.
No. Well, I wasn't asked.
Fair enough.
Bang, bang, bang on the wall from dusk till dawn.
Out on the 15th of September with her debut album out a week or so later, Lady Hawk and Dusk to Dawn. We'll have a tune from Harry after this.
BBC Six Music.
Rufus, is it ready yet, do you think? Are you still brewing it up? Are you happy to debut it?
The Lamac.
Yeah.
Can we have a crack after the next song? I think.
Okay, you need to maybe get in the zone.
Yeah.
Maybe when you introduce your own choice.
Good idea.
Ooh,
Maybe
the
you're
style
on a-
of.
Yeah, Rufus has been working on his Steve Lamacq impression, and it's early days, but we'll see what you, the listener, thinks. In the meantime, a musical choice from Harry.
Yeah, well, over the last sort of year and a half, Steve, I've developed something of a reputation for seeking out the most exciting new music. A lot of them have gone on to big things, a lot of them have fallen by the wayside.
Name a
But,
few that have gone on to big things.
well, you know, it's not time for looking back. New music is about looking forward. So this week, I found a little band called REM.
Ooh.
Just 3 initials. Don't know what it stands for. Yeah, and they're quite good. No, I saw REM play at Twickenham last night. Absolutely blinding show. I'm not one for big stadium gigs, as you know. Leave me a bit cold. It's a bit too sterile, but they put on an incredible show. And I think the reason why is because they didn't have loads of extra musicians on the stage. There was the 3 of them, an extra guitarist who, by the way, wears a Rocket from the Crypt t-shirt, which had me going, and a drummer, and that was pretty much it. The Bruce Springsteen gig we went to, like, he can't get on stage without 25 other musicians, and in a big arena it just sounds like sludge. But this was such a great show last night. They put on a thrilling show. Sadly, it was the last one of the... so I picked an REM track. I've tried to go for something at least a little bit obscure. This track is called Photograph.
Harry's musical choice this week on the Steve Show, and he's trying to show off by finding an obscure REM tune. Where can people dig it up? Presumably they can't.
No, they can't. That was REM with Natalie Merchant. It was called Photograph. It was only ever released on a compilation CD called Born to Choose, which fans of abortion will probably have in their collection.
Right. It's a pro-abortion CD.
Well, it's pro-choice.
Pro-choice.
Yeah,
Pro-choice,
yeah.
yeah.
You know, you don't have to have an abortion. You can
After you've
choose
heard
not
it.
to.
Sure, it's very much your choice. Harry, you're probably a massive fan of the RZA.
Oh, massive.
Aren't you? You know him, of course, as very much the main man behind the Wu-Tang Clan.
absolutely.
But you know that also periodically he records under the nom de plume Bobby Digital. Yeah, and he's got a recent album out under that nom de plume called Digi Snacks. From it, here's You Can't Stop Me Now. This is a cracker. RZA as Bobby Digital and You Can't Stop Me Now, and I've just discovered it's almost as though this show has been carefully thought through, but you won't believe it, Dan Lassac and Scroobius Pip, they only bloody supported Bobby Digital just a couple of months back, and who's going to be a guest on the show after the news? Scroobius Pip. It's as though I've carefully thought this all through and it's not thrown together merely minutes before we get to the air. We'll be back after the news, and it's the Steve Show 6 Music.
On digital.
Gorillaz and Dare, Steve Show, Six Music with me, Steve Merchant. Thank you very much indeed for listening. Still to come, Scroobius Pip live here in the studio. I'm also here with my gang of cronies. As always, we've got Harry, Super Posh Rufus, newly married, and I don't know what that feels like. Married Posh Rufus? Married Posh Rufus.
We could Mr. Husband Posh Rufus.
Mr. Husband,
we'll knock something together.
Yeah, thanks very much. And we've also got Sammy, she's northern. And so there we are. A little bit disappointed in the news. A couple of big stories that have been missed. I was quite excited that read David Duchovny, apparently a sex addict.
Yeah.
Which is a bit life imitating art after Californication.
Right, exactly. I wondered if it was a kind of canny ruse, a publicity ruse.
Because
try
the
and
new
get rid of
series starts really soon.
Well, I'm
doesn't
presuming it probably does. So, yeah, in that
it's a
he plays.
swine.
Yeah. But I've never quite understood what sex addiction is. Because aren't men supposed to think about sex every 8 seconds or something anyway?
You're looking
So-
at me here, but I'm not a man, so maybe direct this to a man.
6 seconds, I
Is it 6 seconds?
Yeah.
So how much more often can you think about it, really, if you're a sex addict?
I don't
Every
kn-
5 seconds?
I don't think it's the
Is he
thinking.
just constantly thinking about it?
I don't think it's the thinking, it's the seeking out opportunities to do it and be successful in that way. I imagine most men, if they had the opportunity, would have that addiction, but for most of us it's
It's
never
just
a
not possible.
problem.
Whereas if you're a good-looking David D.
Yeah, you know, you're a rich movie star, then the opportunities to become addicted to sex are probably far greater.
Do you think that because it's constantly on his mind, when he was filming the X-Files and, you know, Scully is maybe dissecting a Roswell alien, and he's just thinking, I
Either
could
of
do
them.
that. It's just made of rubber. Big prosthetic rubber alien. As soon as all the prop hands have gone, they're moving on to the next scene. He's straight on that dissection table. Bing bong! I mean, I don't know. I just presume that everything he saw, every kind of grotesque, you know,
he had
woman with 8
access-
heads.
Yeah,
Oh,
he had access to so many life forms.
Exactly. Yeah, he did, didn't he? I've never. Yeah, he had access to so many life forms. When you can make love to creatures from other dimensions, then no wonder you're a sex addict. You can't be satisfied with the usual 2 boobs.
But old Kirk did a lot of that in Star Trek, but Shatner was never a problem for him, as far as I'm aware, in real life.
I don't know what Shatner.
Do you
got
think
up to.
the props department would just kind of quake when they saw Duchovny come out? They'd see him walking down the corridor and he'd go, guys, had a couple of ideas about a new figure.
Yeah.
They're like, "What's-"
Guys, I just want to run my lines quietly, in peace. Can you just leave me in here with this squid like
the one from episode 28, it came from the D.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe you just pop and get some food, lads, and just leave me. Just give me 3 minutes.
Yeah. What I need.
Who knows? I don't know, but I know he's a happily married man. So
Yeah, well, you know, it's obviously a personal tragedy. Maybe we shouldn't be making fun.
Is it?
Yeah.
How can it be a personal tragedy? It's not. It's not a tragedy, is it, to be
Well, you know,
a sex addict?
if it gets expensive.
I suppose so. Yeah, it could do. Other important news items. we've
Second big story, Steve, that I don't think Six Music News went for was that Fred West's ghost auditioned for the X Factor last week.
missed? Right. Sorry, I might have misheard that headline.
Yeah, no, Fred West has tried to make a comeback from beyond the grave as a singing superstar.
Right.
It says here in a well-known Sunday newspaper that the spectre of West showed up recently auditions for the X Factor.
Right.
His ghostly apparition was spotted as the Birmingham NEC as technicians were setting up their equipment. West's ghost sang a brief verse of the Jam's classic Going Underground before it realised that the show's judges weren't around. He said later, the BBC are on high alert following fears that West's ghost could infiltrate the new series of Strictly Come Dancing and cause havoc during the show's live broadcast.
Right. Is that that's a credible source?
Yeah,
Is it with lots
I mean,
of.
it's in a newspaper.
It's in the published newspaper. Yeah. And there's photographic evidence.
There is a picture of a spectral presence standing behind a pop superstar.
Well, that definitely looks like West. There's absolutely there's absolutely no way that could have been photoshopped by the
Well,
paper itself.
I don't know
is
how
there?
you could, or I don't
No.
know how you would. More's the point.
Right, yeah. But what kind of sicko would try and exploit Fred West just to sell newspapers?
Yeah.
That would be that would just be perverse. So thankfully,
Yeah.
that's really nothing to worry about there.
Draw a line under that.
I also, talking of grim news, did you read about the fella who wrote the book 100 Things to Do Before You Die?
Oh, he hasn't died, has he?
Yeah. He only got 50 of them done.
Oh, what a waste.
I know, which is tragic, obviously, but he only got the 50 of them done. But there's been lots of coverage about it in the newspapers, and there's one mentioned in the Sunday Times today which talks about how it would actually cost around £200,000 if you were to try and complete his list of 100 things, which is all stuff like running with the bulls, you know, in Spain. Actually visiting, oddly enough, the Roswell Air Base. The Coveney! Coveney! Stay away! I'm just popping to Roswell. Well, why are you popping to Roswell? You're a happy married man. I know, but I've got some business to attend to. It's a convention. But I was thinking, those sort of how to do those lists of things you must do, they're always incredibly ambitious. There's always things you've got to go out of your way. And then, you know, busy lives now, people don't have a lot of money, and I was thinking there are so many wonderful pleasures that you can just have in everyday life that give me personally a tremendous sense of euphoria. I just discovered the joy of air miles. I've never collected the air miles before. What? Since I was no one told me. You in to New York?
Yeah. Oh man.
I know, a free flight to New York.
I could have recommended you. I'd have got 500 miles myself. Angry.
But yeah, I was trying to think of just simple pleasures that you get in everyday life, having, you know, got on occasion the accidental upgrade. The turning left instead of right, you plebs. The left. But I was thinking of simple things you might be able to do just to entertain yourself. Maybe you just pop to your wardrobe, pop £20 in your winter coat.
Yeah.
Okay, and just leave it in the cupboard. Just forget about it. November rolls round, it's getting a bit chilly. You'll pop that coat on. Hang on a minute, what's this? 20 quid, I've forgotten about it. Is that surely that happened to me the other day in the dressing gown? Oh, I don't know why I had cash in my dressing gown. It's very Duchovny like that. But yeah. That's such a treasure. That's such a treat, isn't it? But
I think you'd have to because I'd remember that I put the £20 there, so I'd have to get myself drunk before I put the £20 in my winter coat, so that I would forget that I'd done it, I think.
See, I'm so lovely that I'm probably going to do it for one of my friends or family members. Just put it in their coat, and then they'll find it, and then I'll live through their joy, and that'll be really nice.
That's very sweet, although I've been trying to think generally about more sort of selfish
things.
Desires. You know, when you've been told you can buy a train ticket on the train, and you get on the train, and no one comes.
That is good. That is good.
That's a pleasure, isn't it? Isn't that the greatest, most smug self-satisfaction you can ever have? Well, if you must have some.
Well,
just
like
yourself.
My real obsession, and why I kind of sad about the demise of the cheque, is writing on those little rubber pads you used to get in supermarkets. Writing your name, writing the cheque out. You know, the satisfaction of biros sinking into rubber mat.
Oh yes.
Oh,
that's a tremendous
That's
sense
all
of
gone.
pleasure.
That's it. That's gone.
I'll tell you what I love as well. You've gone to a party. There's a massive queue for the toilets. You're the only one who's discovered there's a disabled bog on the floor above. You're nipping out there, aren't you, every time you need a wee? Not mentioning it to anyone. What's that?
Why is it upstairs?
Some of the places I go to are tremendously cruel. Maybe it's some kind of weird. It's not that I would go there, but maybe it's some kind of weird S&M thing. That is enough for a masochistic disabled person, just not being able to get to the toilet.
Just some ironic pub.
Yeah, exactly. Harry, you must have some.
Yeah, well, I've been eating a lot of chicken lately, Steve.
Sure, of course.
And one of the greatest things about eating chicken is getting it stuck between your teeth. That's not great in itself, but a good hour of working your tongue between your two teeth to get a little bit of chicken out.
Are you a fan of it?
It's really frustrating, but the euphoria when that bit of chicken flies out from your teeth.
The euphoria then is extraordinary.
You know, and you're getting a little bit of chicken as well.
And you get a lovely little tasty treat as well. Sammy, you must have something from being the north.
I like it when you're in your car and you go over an unexpected bump in the road and you get a little tickle in your tummy.
Yeah. I don't like this. I don't
Do you
enjoy
not?
it. No.
I've always enjoyed that. I like all sorts of strange little things that bring you satisfaction. Girls love this. You've seen something you really love, you can't afford it in a shop, and you think, oh, no, I'll have to leave it. You go back a week later, it's in the sale.
Oh, it's on the sale, right? Yeah.
It's in your size, you can buy it.
Yes, I can see the satisfaction there.
Just steal it.
I just presume being northern. Before we come back to this subject, but we need to get a musical choice from you, Sammy.
Oh, all right. This was from your pile of wonderful CDs. It's a really good album, and the song I wanted to play was full of filth, Stephen. So I chose another one. This is Amanda Palmer of the Dresden Dolls, and the song's called Runs in the Family.
Thank you.
My friend has problems,
Sammy's musical choice on this week's Steve Show. What was it, Sammy?
That was Amanda Palmer from the new album Who Killed Amanda Palmer, and the song was called Runs in the Family.
Thank you very much indeed. Back after this with White Lies.
Enter the bizarre world of...
What? I'll tell you what gives me tremendous pleasure. You know, one of those situations where you've said something and someone's queried or contested it, and then you are proven right. Oh,